This is it, guys. This is it. This is the end. It's the end of the Loft Report. Oh, well, I guess we'll talk about all that here in, 60 seconds or so.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Detroit Love, with another video. Welcome to the series finale of the P-Dubs Arcade Loft. Let's get it started.
Hey, guys. What's up? Today's July 5th, 2020, and you're tuning into the series finale of the Loft Report Arcade and Gaming Podcast Show. Detroit Love, you just turned off my whole channel. You said it was the end of P-Dubs. Let's not go that far, brother. Let's not go that far. And guys,
I said the Arcade Loft.
Yeah, but that's me, P-Dubs Arcade Loft. Guys, Detroit Love just killed my channel. I know some people are popping party poppers right now celebrating when he said that, but let's take it down 1,000. We're just going to retire this show. This is the series finale of this show, guys, and it's very, very cool. Now, of course, when you're going to have a party, and we're going to tell you what all this means and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, first off, Carl, is that a green screen or are you actually outside right now?
This is the green world, baby.
That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. Carl is outside chilling. I'm stuck inside my office because I'm in Arizona where it's hot as hell and I can't go outside. Not pale Irish guys like me. But if we're going to do something like this, we should invite a couple of friends, right? So, here's a guy who's been hanging around the loft a lot lately. What's going on, Michael B?
What's happening, guys?
What up, Michael B?
You hanging in there?
I'm doing okay.
Doing okay? Should we tell people the funny thing that happened before the show started?
No one needs to know how I live.
Guys, hilarious thing happened. So we're about to go live. Michael B joins the broadcast, and that little door over his left shoulder is where he keeps the litter box, right? And the litter box was full of cat shit. And the first thing I saw when Michael B got on the show was, I said, Michael, you need to change that litter box, bro. And he's like, yeah, I should probably get that off camera, right? It was epic. It was hilarious. It was awesome. And I found it funny. Detroit Love found it funny. And not only that, guys, but Nostalgia found it funny. What's going on, Nostalgia?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Oh, man, fantastic.
Yeah. Once again, we got a good lineup of dudes here. A bunch of super dudes, right? A bunch of super guys who like to play in their game rooms, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think we should keep doing this? I mean, do you think we should keep doing this? Like us four hanging out? Guys in the chat, what do you think? Do you guys think that you like the four-man crew here, the four horsemen of the arcade apocalypse? Let us know in the chat. What do you think, Detroit Love? Do you like hanging out with these guys?
Man, these three right here are the awesome dudes, man. Awesome dudes. Love hanging out with you guys, man.
You love hanging out with us? Well, that's very kind of you to say. What about Nostalgia? Michael B, do you like coming on the show?
I like the paychecks you send my way. So, I mean, it's certainly a nice perk.
It's certainly a nice perk, right? So I got a great idea, guys. let's make this a fun series finale of the Loft Report, and let's seal the deal, brothers. Let's make a whole new thing. It's all about innovation. It's all about changing your game, keeping the arcade gaming community alive, keeping them excited. So when I take a look here and I say, you know what, we got a pretty damn good crew right here. You got P-Dubs, the hype man, the podcaster, the promoter. You got Detroit Love, your arcade modding expert. You got Nostalgia, the king of emulation. You know, ETA Prime, he's got a chair right next to him, and that's where Nostalgia sits as well, in my opinion. And then, of course, if I have a question on an old console game, Nintendo, all that kind of stuff, there's one man I turn to, and that's Michael B, the Game Genie. So if you think about it, guys, we can cover with our powers combined, you know, just like Captain Planet, right? We can cover all facets of arcade and gaming and truly make something special. So that's why starting next week, guys, this will become a permanent addition to your YouTube lineup. You will be watching the Super Game Room dudes. That's right. And don't ask me for any more assets, images, intros, videos, nothing. The Super Game Room dudes is on the way. Yes, we pulled the WWE swerve on you, but it's for your fun. It's for your excitement, guys. We are going to be a four-man crew, a four-man wrecking crew, covering all facets of arcade gaming as well as console gaming and things of that nature. We're going to expand the show. We're not just going to be talking about arcades. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. So Super Game Room dudes, you're going to love it. We had a hard time picking a name. A lot of good names were taken already. And it was so funny. We actually picked a name, and I made an intro video. I made an outro video. We put the assets together for the show. Not once did we turn around and do a Google search. Like, oh, shit. Shit's taken.
It kind of felt like the episode of South Park where it was all about, oh, the Simpsons have already done it. That's kind of what it was like.
Right. So the Super Game Room dudes, hopefully let me know in the chat, guys, if you're excited about this. I am trying to deliver and bring you guys the best in arcade and gaming community content. I'm trying to give you guys the people you want to see, the guests you want to see, the hosts you want to see, the hype you want to see, because guess what, guys? This is supposed to be a positive, engaging community. There shouldn't be drama on Facebook. There shouldn't be drama on YouTube. We're here to have fun. We're here to play with our toys.
Drama's okay.
I am fired up, and with these powers combined, we can accomplish anything. So super excited about that. Now, just to kind of give them a flavor, we got a lot of topics we're going to cover today. And of course, we're going to mold this show into something really exciting moving forward. But we're going to talk about arcade stuff today, as well as we're going to be talking about some console stuff as well. So just to give you guys a little bit of flavor of how we're going to try and encompass as much as we can within an hour broadcast. Because as you guys know, I don't like doing live streams over an hour. Once an hour hits, P-Dubs loses his mind and says, that's enough! And I usually yank the plug. So all that kind of stuff. All right, guys, so let's kind of dive into it, right? Let's kind of talk about the arcade news, right? So for instance, let me share my screen. Let's talk about the II Arcade and their Kickstarter status for the community in case they haven't been paying attention. Guys, take a look at this. 839 backers, 32 days to go, and they've made 315,000 out of an initial goal of only 50,000. Wow. To make these conversations simple, we'll just go from the top to the bottom. Detroit Love, tell me what you think about this, and we'll work our way down the list.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome, and they definitely overpassed the goal. And I like the fact that even though with this Kickstarter platform, you don't have to make any guarantees. You don't have to, ensure people that they'll get a product, because that's not how the platform works. But this founder has said that he's going to make sure that people get the product or get their money back. And I think that's pretty awesome.
Keep going. No?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Come on.
Again, like I said, any entry into this platform works for me. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of how it looks per se, but I haven't had it in my hand. I hadn't touched it. But like I said, I'm a fan of anything that comes into this market, man, that gives us more options, because as a modern man, I like options. I like to be able to have something different. I don't think one solution fix everything, right? One thing doesn't work for everybody. So it's great to have options to give people more options to get and more things to purchase. I love these things, man. So more the power, more the merrier.
What about you, Michael B? You've been paying attention to the II Arcade. What do you think about their Kickstarter success, and what do you think is going to happen next?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been following the II arcade. I haven't been a huge fan until the creator was on your show a couple weeks ago, and seeing his passion for what he's doing. And I mean, just the emotion that came from him when he talked about his previous experience and what he's trying to do, that really did a lot for me to tell me how passionate he is about this product, and that he's going to put his heart and soul into making this something that's good. So I think that you deserve a lot of credit for how well he's doing right now personally, P-Dubs. I'm not trying to just pat you on the back, but
No,
yeah, I think
don't stroke my ego. It'll get out of control. It'll completely engulf the rest of this show, because originally it was going to be the Super Game Room dudes featuring Nostalgia. Might have to change that to featuring P-Dubs if we keep up that kind of talk. What about you, Nostalgia? What do you think? I know you're a fan, and you also supported. You put your money in for this, right, buddy?
I'm a big fan of what they've done here. I was going to joke around about saying, like, this is the first time I've ever seen this arcade cabinet. What is this thing? But honestly, it's really impressive what he's been able to do, kind of starting in this type of market without any real serious background. I mean, obviously he's got gaming background. Jong's got a ton of experience. But I mean, taking something from inception to concept to market is a huge task, and he's done it very well and very tastefully. And I mean, if you go up to the design, people are saying maybe they don't like the design, they don't like the artwork. I'm the opposite. I'm the youngest guy here on the panel. I'm 30 years old. This design kind of suits what I think people in my age group actually would really like. And the fact that he's kind of highlighting, we're going to go with some modern games, we're going to be doing some first-person shooters, we're going to be doing things like that, I think it makes sense. I mean, I just love what they're doing. I'm 100% going to stand behind this product.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, having Jong on my show really, really made me pull the trigger on that, on this purchase, right? Because I, like a lot of folks, had reservations. He had a Kickstarter before, but it failed. And if you guys go back and watch the last episode of the Loft Report, excuse me, when we had Jong on and he told the story, right? And we heard it from the source instead of speculating. We gave him a chance to speak. And when you do that, you give the person a chance to speak, and that way you can make your decision. Do I have faith in this guy, or do I not have faith in this guy, and all that kind of stuff. And he won me over with his honesty. The man broke down in tears on my show. If you go back and watch the first 15 minutes of the last podcast, which freaked me out. My heart started beating a little bit. I'm like, are you okay, buddy? Are you okay? I got worried. But then I turned around and, of course, made him laugh, and we ended up having a great show. But yeah, like a lot of folks, I was worried about Kickstarter, worried about the fact that his last project didn't go through. But after giving him a chance to, sell me on his product and who he is, I was sold.
If I can jump in here, P-Dubs, another big thing that I don't think too many people are talking about is what Jong said about the funds that he's raised off of Kickstarter.
Oh yeah,
and like he's actually doing something that is fairly unique. I don't think very many Kickstarters do this. Most people use the funds from Kickstarter to fund their project. He's going to take that cash and he's throwing it in a separate bank account. And the idea here is that he's not going to touch it. He's already funded with venture capital elsewhere. And if things fall apart, he's got that money kind of in a reserve. And his intention is to make sure any of the backers are not going to be left out to dry, which I think is huge considering Kickstarters in general. I've lost money on a few different Kickstarters, and nobody's in most cases, the person who's running that Kickstarter just disappears. They ghost on the community. You don't hear from them. There's no repercussions. But Jong seems to really want to make sure that at the end of the day, the people supporting him are protected. And I think that goes a lot to speak to his character. So
yeah. The thing I liked best about that show we did with him was when P-Dubs produced those two graphic alternatives. I mean, you could see it in his eyes. He was like, wow, that really changes. Even though those machines, the same exact machines I've been, pushing out here, he could see how those graphics could make a difference in the product that he pushes, that he sells, and how it could spark people's interest and sparks people's nostalgic values, from that. I get it from both sides, from nostalgia saying, hey, I'm one of the new kids on the block, right? This is all new and I love it. I like the modern games. And so that modern look appeals to me. But then you got the old heads like me that says, hey, man, unless you're sparking something in me, I just can't see this as an arcade, So I think it's changed his perspective on what he can offer and what he can provide. And I think that's a great thing for his movement for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I did that. That was not a rehearsed segment. That was definitely a big surprise. I dropped on Jong. And I was worried. I was like, am I going to offend this guy? Because I'm basically going to tell him to give his product a makeover, right? But the biggest issues that I have with the II Arcade, that I'm sure a lot of folks have, is the appearance, right? It doesn't tug on your heartstrings, is what you hear a lot of guys say, right? And if it tugs on your heartstrings, those strings are also connected to your wallet. It makes you buy it, which is why I surprised Jong, and I threw this at him. I said, hey, if you throw a Dragon's Lair skin on that, because that's your headliner, keep in mind this is just a mock-up. It's not a perfect rendition. That makes me want to buy it even more, right? Or his other headliner title, Double Dragon, which this is my personal favorite right here. I know it's not the original Double Dragon artwork, but it's a version of it that I think with the purple and everything would look really, really hot. And I think that would look really, really cool. And I think if people saw this, that they're more likely to buy it than if it looks like what it looks like today. And then some folks are saying they pay more for that, sure, which is really cool. We all know what Get Off My Lawn Gaming thinks about the II Arcade. But guys, what do you think, Michael B? Now, after that episode, guys, what I can tell you is Jong really appreciated what we did, those mock-ups, and he's working on it. And that's all I can say, is he's going to see if it's possible, and if it's possible, hopefully make that happen. Maybe we'll see an announcement over the course of this Kickstarter that maybe there'll be a separate graphic version, or what is it called? Detroit Love in Kickstarters, when it hits a certain point. What is that called again?
Milestones.
Milestones or something like that.
Yeah, if you get certain monetary milestones, they have different rewards that they'll add to the product. Yeah.
So maybe guys, and it's a maybe, that stuff could possibly be added to it, and that would, I'm sure, excite folks a little bit more, and all that kind of stuff. So, hats off to iArcade. It seems like their Kickstarter's off to a pretty good start, and they should be hitting 1,000 pre-orders very soon. And I'm sure Jong is going to take that data. He's going to go to the Capcoms, the SNKs, the Segas of the world, right, and say, look, there's an appetite for my product. I have this many people who've already bought my machine. You know what I mean? Can I get your licenses? Can I get your games? Right.
Yeah. And Battle Creed, they're corrected me here. It's called a stretch goal. So they call it a stretch goal because
stretch goal.
Yeah. As they get certain monetary values, they can, produce something better.
Yeah. Jeremy says it would help if there's a Dragon's Lair movie in the works too, supposedly live action with Ryan Reynolds. I haven't heard anything about that. Have you guys heard about that?
I did, yeah. I don't know how true it is, but I did hear about it. Cool. It sounds pretty interesting.
That'd be kind of cool. That's why I was really hoping, before COVID happened, I was hoping that either Toy Shock, At Games, or even Arcade 1-Up would get the Stern license, right? Because I was really hoping we would get a Ghostbusters table, because if you get that license and if you released it at the same time as the Ghostbusters remake, it just makes marketing sense, in my opinion. You're going to sell a ton of them, right? But it doesn't appear that any of these companies have gotten the Stern license, correct? So, yeah, we don't know. What's up?
Not the Stern license, and I don't know what's happening with this company, but didn't Well Played Games have something to do with the Ghostbusters license?
Well, they licensed artwork for their pinball machine that they showed off at the New York Toy Fair, right? But it's just artwork. And, Cool Toy did a wonderful video, and he created a Facebook fan page for them. And it was really cool to introduce us to that brand, right? But the first question that came into my head was, why does this thing have Ghostbusters artwork, but no Ghostbusters game included? Mm-hmm. Because if that machine is in my house and somebody sees it, they're going to walk over to it and say, oh, crap, man, I want to play Ghostbusters. Where is it? It's not on here. What the hell? So it just made no sense to me why New Wave Toys would put Ghostbusters on there if there's no Ghostbusters game. So go ahead.
Wasn't it artwork from the upcoming movie though?
I can't remember. I mean, I watched that video twice, and that was back in February. It's been a long time. We got a super chat. The new name's nice, but keep 4 Horsemen of the Arcade Apocalypse. What? Love it. I don't know about you guys, but what is that? Darksiders, the video game series. Do you have guys ever play that? I like that video game series. It's kind of about the 4 Horsemen and stuff.
Okay.
Well, I always think wrestling when I think of the 4 Horsemen.
Yeah, but see, Jeremy put are you sure? There are 22 games on the At Games Pinball, and the company they are teaming with did make Stern Pinball. Yeah, so Pinball Arcade does own licenses for, well, they own the license. I'm sorry, Farsight Studios owns the Gottlieb license, right? They own it, right? So they can do whatever they want with it. Whereas the Stern Pinball games are licensed to Pinball Arcade, right? Even though they're on the so Pinball Arcade, Farsight Studios owns the Gottlieb license. The Stern games are licensed to Farsight Studios and Pinball Arcade. So when it comes to that, is we don't know what games are going to be included. Did Pinball Arcade, Farsight Studios work out a deal with Stern to have that on the At Games Pinball? It's too early to say. Me, like all of you, I'm waiting on the games list, right? Waiting on the announcement. Okay, so let's kind of move on to our next topic. And I wanted to talk to you about the Arcade One Up survey that got sent out. And did you guys all see that survey? And
I haven't seen it. I think
they sent it out twice. They've sent it out to me twice.
So what are your takeaways from that survey, Detroit Love and Michael B., as well as people in the chat? Would love to see, what are your takeaways from the survey?
Go ahead, Mike, if you're ready.
Yeah, sure. I've also watched a lot of people talking about it too, and I think people have kind of tried to pick it to death. I don't know what to make of anything. Like, they mentioned the full-size cabinet, and that's kind of the big thing everybody's jumped on right now. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, they always talked about like a premier cabinet. I just assumed they meant a full-size cabinet. I didn't assume that it was a racing cabinet. I just said, oh, okay, they're going to make a full-size cabinet. So I think they're gauging the waters right now if there is interest out there, or if people want to switch from current Arcade One-Up cabinets to larger ones that are a little bit more prestige. I mean, that price point of $1,000 US to $3,000, that's really high. That's a jump, but that's where you're getting into that prestige cabinet. The other thing people went nuts for was the game selection. I wouldn't read too much into that. I think that's just a follow-up because they did a previous survey, and maybe some of those games they included in there, like Donkey Kong, X-Men, Simpsons, they were just the most requested games. So they're, gauging interest if they need to go back and actually try to go and approach these companies and put money into it. The rest I took from it is I think they're trying to re-gauge their product line. I mean, they've made a lot of stuff recently. Partycades, the countercades, the 3/4 scale cabinets. And I think they're really trying to focus on what's the best bang for their buck. I know why you do it. You make the smaller cabinets because not everybody's going to shell out $400 to $600 for a 3/4 scale cabinet. So you're trying to get a lower tier item that might interest some new people. But I don't know how well they've been selling, and I don't know if that's really the product that fits what they're doing. I always thought the 3/4 scale and then up was more so what they did. I've never been interested personally in a countercade, but maybe there are people that are interested. So that was kind of all my takeaways from the survey. I didn't really get anything else from it.
What about you, Carl?
The biggest thing I saw in the survey is that they may have maybe gathering information on whether it makes sense to offer more cabinets through their own website as opposed to going with the, sharing the profits with the Walmarts and the GameStops and those guys out there. Some of the questions seem to ask those things. I mean, you can read, it's all comes down to how you read the question, because clearly we don't know exactly what they're asking. But when they say from Arcade One-Up, you can look at, are you just saying an arcade cabinet from Arcade One-Up as opposed to a II Arcade or someone else, or are you saying, would you get that cabinet from us personally, being from our website? And that's what I was hoping they would do and offer better. obviously they have to share the money with Walmart and those guys, right? So if they can offer the same cabinets and add more to it from them directly, just like they do all these different packages, they'll give, Walmart a different package than maybe Best Buy or Sam's Club and those type of things. So I would love to see more
we losing Carl?
Cabinets coming directly from them. I don't have a problem directly.
All right, we're losing.
I don't know. I can still see you guys.
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit. We'll let you buffer up here in a minute. Get buff. You got to get buff, Carl, for the show. Okay, so Ristalgia, before
you losing me?
We can hear you, but your video froze. It's okay. All right, let's see if he unlocks. If not, you can just jump out.
That's me.
Back.
Okay. Let me switch over here.
All right. So, Ristalgia, any thoughts before I jump in here?
I don't know what's going on in that survey. I haven't seen it personally, so I don't have too much to talk about. What it sounds like they're kind of trying to get some consumer feedback as to maybe new product lines. If they're looking at like a premium arcade machine, like a full-scale machine, I would hate to see them try to do what they're doing with their 3/4 scale and replicate that, where you only get 2 or 3 titles on a full-scale machine. I don't know that that's really appealing because it does take up so much extra space. But if they're going into the market of like a more of a multicade, maybe not similar to what AtGames has done in terms of like loading it up with 350 games, but if they load it up with 50 decently licensed titles with some pretty sweet artwork, that might be interesting. But like I said, I haven't seen the survey personally, so I don't actually know what questions were asked.
Yeah. So in my opinion, guys, and keep in mind, this is just my opinion, is I just think the survey was just a survey. I mean, there's nothing more than that. There's no reason to make a 45-minute discussion about it. There's not really a lot to talk about. It's a survey. Companies do surveys all the time. They're trying to find out from the customers what you're interested in. And I'm pretty certain, too, that if 10,000 people check Donkey Kong, they're going to take that to... It's the same thing that the iArcade is doing, guys. They're taking the data to the publishers saying, hey, we got 10,000 consumers who said they will buy that Donkey Kong cabinet. Can you get us a license, right?
And Nintendo will say no unless you can sell a million of them.
Right. So, but I mean, that's just the point, guys, right? It's just data mining. They're trying to figure out what products they should target for their community next. Should they release that table, pinball table? What is that? The gaming table with the touch screen and all that stuff. They're just trying to figure out what we are interested in continuing to purchase moving forward. It literally is just that. It doesn't mean that everything you saw in there is going to happen. It's just a survey. So in my opinion, it's not really newsworthy at all. But it's interesting, though, some of the things contained in the survey, right? Like, well, maybe we will get that legacy table or something like that. But it's really not like this is going to happen. You know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. Okay, guys. So that's it. I mean, other than that, there's really nothing more to talk about with their survey because it's just a survey. It's not a big deal. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. I wanted to talk about, we're trying to jump through all these companies. Toy Shock. Unfortunately, I haven't heard any updates, guys. I know that they are planning on updating their website with the process and how it's going to go down for people who want to get like updated PCB boards for their Generation 1 machines, but I don't have dates yet. They were saying they were hoping in June, but as you can imagine, guys, everyone is seeing delays right now. Arcade 1-Up is seeing delays. AtGames is seeing delays, as we just heard with GameStop. Toy Shock is seeing delays. I mean, guys, only so much can happen in China, and I get it. I want my products now, just like all of you, but we have to kind of give the world credit. And by the world, I mean China as well as these companies, right? I mean, they can only do so much, right? So yeah, no updates for Toy Shock, guys, unfortunately. But once we hear something, they did say it's going to be on their website and all that kind of stuff. Now moving on to AtGames. AtGames actually did something kind of cool. Ristalgia is, let me see if I can pull it up here. And do you have any of those flashback, or do any of you have any of those flashback blast consoles that AtGames sells? Nobody?
No, I don't own one of those.
What about folks in the chat? They could put it in the chat here. So AtGames,
Am I back?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're back. You're back. Yeah. Let me get my screen shared here. Let's make sure we have it on the right window. AtGames did something kind of cool. I think this is interesting. Is if you have those flashback blast devices. And go check out Patton Plays. Patton Plays, I think, released a video on this as well because he's a big fan of those, right? I'll be honest, guys, I'm not a big fan of the Flashback Blast consoles, so I don't own any. But I think it's kind of cool that they've added a firmware update where now they have their online leaderboards. As you can see here, you have your online leaderboard for your Legends Ultimate, as well as your online leaderboard for the Burger Time on Legends Flashback, and it works for all the games as well. I think that's kind of cool that they're expanding their. So since we all don't own one of these personally, let's just talk about expanding the leaderboard ecosystem. Nostalgia, do you think this is cool?
I love it. I love what they're doing with this leaderboard system. I think it's just a nice touch because it doesn't really. Everything's connected to Wi-Fi anyways, so it isn't anything that needs to be done in terms of on hardware modifications. It's just pushing information up to their server, and it's just a fun way to play games. Like there's a lot of these games that you would play and it would be like, okay, I'm going to play it a few times. I'm going to try to get to my high score. And once you get to your high score, you're like, okay, this is probably about as good as it's going to get. I'm not going to invest too much more time. But when you have the option to take a look online and see the whole community is fighting for that number one spot, it just adds a whole level of competition to the game that you wouldn't have experienced otherwise. I absolutely love this feature.
I love online leaderboards, and what the 350 games that come with the cabinet. A lot of those games, people are like, "Why should I even play them?" Right? It gave a lot of people reason to play those games that are included, right? And a lot of folks were saying, "Well, At Games isn't pushing the games that come included on the cabinet, right? It's all this side loading stuff going on." But the leaderboards, I mean, major push, as well as them doing the whole esports gaming league and all that kind of stuff. So they are pushing using this kind of stuff. And iArcade has taken notice. Jeff Rainwater wrote it right here on our podcast episode. We threw that at Jong, like, Jong, are we going to get firmware updates? Are you going to add features and functionalities? And he said, of course. It's going to be a lot like the At Games in that manner. And he strongly hinted towards the iArcade platform will have online leaderboard capability, not at launch date, but potentially in a firmware update shortly thereafter. So that gives me just another reason to buy the iArcade, because I love online leaderboards. I do like the NBA Jam cabinet because of the online functionality, online leaderboards. Now, these guys with these 262-0 records, you're full of shit. But minus that, it's a pretty good experience. Like, I would give the NBA Jam cabinet probably a 9 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, I've definitely been enjoying the statistics being shown on the NBA Jam. Now, some of those guys obviously have way more time on their hands than I do, so I'll never be able to match the gameplay that they have. But like any of these things we've learned over the past, the companies have to make those things cheat proof, right? Where people can't unplug their network and still get the credit and things like that. Otherwise, they become useless data, right? Mm-hmm. If people can cheat it or fix it. So I think they have to make some adjustments there to make those stats more realistic. But I think it's a different element to the game. I know when I go on there, I look for people I know. I see if their names up there. I haven't seen any of you guys' names up there. Well, I know you guys hadn't got yours yet, but P-Dubs, I'm still looking for your rankings up there,
I've had no time. Like, I have played maybe 10 games and I've enjoyed it, right? I'm just so busy working on other stuff. Just like all of you, the curse of working full time, trying to spend time with your family. I have slowed down a bit on my YouTube channel. You'll notice I've not been dropping a video every 30 seconds like Carl tells me I do. The last 2 weeks, I've maybe dropped 4 videos in the last 2 weeks, and they pretty much have all just been podcast shows. But I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to get to do more content, and I'm sure it'll happen. You'll see me drop like 4 videos in a week, and then next week 2. You know what I mean? It's just the way the world works, guys. We're busy. Right. It's summertime. We're trying to enjoy our lives, all that kind of stuff. I want more quality games, could care less for leaderboards. That's fair enough, Destro. Appreciate that. I suck at games, so leaderboards don't mean much. So and this is great feedback, guys, because although these functionalities appeal to me, they don't appeal to everybody, right? Like, I love leaderboards. Some people, they don't give a crap, right? And that's totally fair. I totally respect that.
I think more important than the leaderboards is the ability to play against people that's not sitting in the same room with you. I think going forward, that's going to be a pretty awesome thing to do. I mean, just look at arcades today. Arcades were making a strong comeback. Now all the arcades are closed, and are they going to recover from this COVID pandemic? It's going to be hard to say because that's a very hands-on, touching, you're eating your burger and your French fries and touching the games and back and forth. You know, even bowling, arenas or bowling alleys for that standpoint. I think this pandemic is going to affect quite a few industries. But if these arcade companies are just like Arcade 1-Up has done with this cabinet, I think is awesome to be able to play against other people because it's a totally different element playing against another human being versus playing with artificial intelligence. It's just a cool factor to be able to do so. So I hope that's a trend that continues with not only the old school games, but the new, obviously the consoles you can play against people. But anybody that has a cabinet, II Arcade or at games to add that feature, I think would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, you are not the winner of the giveaway, Nostalgia. You
have my address. It's all right.
You are just stop cheating. I can't tell you guys, when we were trying to come up with the name for the new podcast that we're going to be launching, Super Game Room Dudes, right? I can't tell you how many times we had a group chat on Facebook Messenger that Nostalgia would send us a title, but they always ended it in starring Nostalgia, featuring Nostalgia, or Nostalgia and Friends. And you think I'm cocky. You guys don't know Nostalgia behind the scenes, man. It was pretty epic. It's pretty epic. So
I wouldn't say cocky. I would say confident. I think that's the word you were looking for.
Yeah, that's what cocky guys say.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, I forgot where we were. Talking about NBA. Oh, wait, let's switch gears real quick because you guys are just getting your Burger Time cabinets, right? Michael B and Nostalgia. You just got yours, Michael B. What do you think so far? Are you because are they sold out? I mean, are they sold out? Like, no, they're not sold out. Okay. Because I was debating when I got mine, should I even do a product review for it, right? Because I thought they were sold out. I tried doing that whole Shopify trick on their website. I'm thinking they fixed it where that's not, you can't really do that trick anymore, right? So I was like, but when I tried to do that trick, it looked like they were sold out. So I was like, why should I review it? They're sold out, right? Like, I'm not going to influence people one way or the other, right? But it appears they're not sold out. So can we expect a product review from Michael B? And what do you think so far of your Burger Time cabinet, as well as the folks in the chat?
Well, I'll jump in first. I'm still disappointed that you haven't reviewed yours, and I don't think you give yourself enough credit. I know it's a little bit different. I'm not a known Arcade 1-Up personality. You are a little bit in the arcade community, and you need to have more confidence in yourself, man. Like, if you put a review out, regardless of how many other reviews are out there, people are going to watch your stuff. So just do it. Like, you have a platform, do it, man. And plus, I really like watching it, so I'm being a little bit selfish and asking you to do it now.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you what I was going to do? Like, I'm so stupid, right? Like, so I'm going to tell you my ideas, and I don't care if other guys rip these off because
I'm going to steal them all. I've got a notepad here.
Because of COVID. Like, so for instance, in my town, we have a rec center that has an indoor basketball court, right? And if you guys remember, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, Arizona opened back up a couple weeks ago, and then our COVID cases just tripled. Like, they tripled within a week. We opened too soon. Like, we opened up public venues, gyms, everything. We're like, let's just go out there and have fun. Like, nothing ever happened. Big mistake, right? So the gym has a full basketball court, right? And I was going to take my NBA Jam cabinet there and actually have it inside a real basketball court, right? And do the review in there. I was going to call it the NBA Jam on the courts review, or take it to the courts review. Had a good catchy title. It was a great idea. And guess what, guys? Right when I was about to go over there, they're like, oh, we can't let you come in here and film. I was like, why? Because I had to ask them for it. I had to ask them for permission and stuff. They were like, because with COVID, we're shutting down again. Like, next week, we're going to be completely closed. I'm like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Because that was going to be an awesome review. Because why haven't I seen that yet? Now, Glenn's Retro Show, he did it with a green screen, and it looked great. But why haven't we seen anyone actually take their NBA Jam cabinet and film a review, like on a basketball court. Like, doesn't that just seem like the way to do it, right?
Hmm.
I thought that would be a good idea. Let me guys know in the chat if you wish that P-Dubs had made that video. It's probably not going to happen now. And then with Burger Time, I was going to literally have it on my back patio while I was grilling burgers, have it out there. I thought it would be kind of cheesy, fit the theme, and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
So-
burgers are only better if it's cheesy. So
When I was going to say, P-Dubs, you can
Go ahead.
You can be disappointed about the COVID situation, but you only have yourself to blame because, like, weren't you the one who brought COVID over from China?
Oh,
and you
stop
spread it across the United States,
Stop
and now
it.
we have it here in Canada, and now we're under lockdown.
I am not patient zero. I am not. I'm patient zero. By the way, guys, I only subscribe to P-Dubs, but I think I'll subscribe to the other 3. Yes, guys, please subscribe to all 4 of us. I highly recommend these 3 guys. I love their work. And no, P-Dubs was not. P-Dubs was going to take his Star Wars into space and film it there. Yeah, Elon Musk and I are tight, right? So I was going to get my Star Wars on SpaceX and all that crap. P-Dubs love the wet markets. Whoa.
So, anyways, going back to what I was saying, Burger Time's really good.
Yes, sorry, but okay, but Michael, we got to be honest with our audience. You did have let's talk about a couple things. For starters, so guys, if you don't know, that first batch of Burger Time cabinets, when they came out, they had to mail the 8-way gates separately, right? Now on mine, which came in a later batch as well as yours, Michael, the 8-way gates were pre-installed. So it was nice that Arcade went up, pre-installed them. You don't have to wait for it to come in the mail. But you did have an issue with one of your joysticks, which, let's be honest, what happened?
Well, it's the worst joystick to have an issue with. It was the first player one, which is the only one I think that works for Burger Time. None of the other controllers work on Burger Time, right?
Right.
So I started playing, and I was very happy with it. I mean, the cabinet came in beautiful shape. I didn't have any issue with the side artwork. Screen was beautiful. There was no light bleed. I was like, man, they knocked it out of the park. I got a perfect cabinet here. Started playing, and the down function of the joystick didn't work. So it's kind of impossible to play Burger Time if you can't go down.
Well,
So,
you can play it if you can't go down. You just got to be good.
Yeah, this is what Nostalgia started hitting me with the other day. He's like, only real gamers can play Burger Time without going down or left. It just means you're not good.
This guy, guys, you don't know Nostalgia, right? He's always like, in this episode, I'm going to show you how to hack your Nintendo right after this, right? But then behind the scenes, he's all like, talking trash and all that kind of stuff. You guys don't know the real Nostalgia like I do. Anyway, I'm sorry, Michael B. Keep going.
No. So I reached out to this group, actually, and I mentioned what happened, and I took apart my control panel, and it seems like on the micro switch, they actually solder the cable on, and I'm not 100% sure if this was done during manufacturing, and it had a pass quality sticker on it, but one of the cables had actually broke off the down micro switch. So Nostalgia gave me a heads up on exactly what to do, and my brother came over and helped me. And instead of putting in a trouble ticket, we just actually stripped the wire a little bit and soldered the wire back on. I was good to go. I mean, I don't know how to solder, so my brother helped me, and now I know how to solder. But, if you're like me, completely inept, you're going to put a ticket in. I mean, that's something they shouldn't have to do. That should have been caught. I'm thinking that the thing with the octagonal gates, I think they were sent over as they were, and then they reopened the boxes and redid that, and maybe that's when it happened. But that's just speculation.
I think so. And keep in mind, guys, this is just in my opinion. Is I think that one reason for Burger Time delays is I could tell by my box when it came, it appeared to have been opened previously.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it appeared that way. It's just speculation. Arcade One Up doesn't need to troll my channel. It appears that they opened the boxes up, installed the gates, resealed them, and shipped them out. And maybe that's one of the reasons there's a delay, because that's a process in itself, right? To do that.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. But again, guys, no evidence to confirm that. It just appeared that way, in my opinion, all that kind of stuff. And all that. Now, Nostalgia, are you now? And I did do a live stream. I didn't do a review for Burger Time. I did a live stream where I played all the games. And let me guys know in the chat, do you have the Burger Time cabinet? What's your favorite game to play? I'll be honest, my favorite game to play on that cabinet is Karate Champ. I actually have a lot of fun playing Karate Champ on that. What is that? Do you guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. 1 second. I think my wife is. I bought her a new vacuum this week, and I think she's down to town with it. Just gonna close this door.
And you can only find that level of content, guys, on Super Game Room Dudes. That was awesome.
Well, I didn't buy the.
Look at Michael struggle. Look at him struggle. This is the best part. You guys should have seen him move in the litter box earlier. Okay.
Now she won't be able to bring you coffee. Now you don't lock.
I know.
Okay. So,
but I didn't buy the Burger Time cabinet. I think the cabinet looks pretty awesome. I love the game.
right.
On my modded Galaga, I play Burger Time all the time. I think it's a pretty awesome game.
Yeah. Okay. We got a super chat here real quick from Ben Salazar. TP Link AV2000 runs Ethernet through the electric plugs in your house. My Wi-Fi did not reach my NBA Jam. This solved my internet issue with the micro HDMI port. Also plugged into my Legends. No more Wi-Fi issue. Nostalgia, I think this is kind of your territory, and I think I'll give him a shout out. I haven't given him a shout out in a long time, but I thought he did a really good job. Unqualified Critics actually showed that in his NBA Jam video as well. So yeah, Nostalgia, what's this about? We can just use the plugs in our house to get internet?
Yeah.
What is this wizardry?
So I was actually going back and forth with Ralph a little bit about this because there is a tech using certain types of electrical cables that have both power and data lines where you can get one of those power line adapters. And for those who don't know what a power line adapter is, it's almost like a little picture, like a Wi-Fi repeater that you plug into the wall close to your home router or your modem. And you would run a direct Ethernet cable from that modem or router into that little box. And it would essentially convert your electrical wires, all the copper wires in your house to transmit the data signal from your modem or router throughout your entire electrical grid. And typically in the box, you're going to get two of them. You'll get one as your essential router or one of your devices that connects to your router. And the second one is going to be a receiver that'll grab that signal from the electrical outlet on anywhere else in the house, and it'll send the internet signal through there. You plug an Ethernet cable into that, and then plug it into whatever device you wanted.
That's awesome.
That's really handy, depending on the type of electrical cord you're using. For example, my laptop has built-in data lines into the electrical cord. I don't need that second adapter, so I can get the single power line adapter, plug my modem into that. My grid is now enabled with the network signal. And when I plug my laptop directly into an electrical outlet, it powers obviously it powers my laptop, but it also sends the data lines for the internet signal into my laptop. And I don't actually need that secondary adapter. And I've got a hardwired connection. So keep in mind, it's not as clean as a direct line from your router into the device. You're going to have some latency, but it is 10 times better than anything you're going to get over Wi-Fi. And your latency is going to be next to nothing. So.
Interesting. A lot of folks are saying, though, it has to be on the same circuit. I haven't attempted it yet.
Yeah, it all has to be within the same panel. So it doesn't have to be on the same circuit, but it has to all connect to the same electrical panel.
And Carl, Carl
I've used these things for years.
Oh, look at that. He's got them.
Yeah,
there you go.
Now, these are older technology, so there's only 85 megabits per second, but it still works perfectly. But like you said, you just plug it straight into the wall, plug one end, cable into your router, and then you take the other one and plug that near your device, and then plug the other coaxial 5 Cat 5 cable into whatever device you want to use. I've used this for years before the Wi-Fi has gotten better and stronger. But I have the Google Wi-Fi mesh network, which I have a Google Wi-Fi on each level of the house, and those devices let you plug two Cat 5s directly into the back of the two that's not plugged into the router. So it accomplishes the same goal, but these things have always worked pretty good over the years for me.
Here I am. I'm living in the dark ages. You guys are hijacking the power lines in your homes, getting internet signal through there, and I'm just here with my little, 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi router, just trying to make ends meet. So,
man, and the tech on this isn't new. Like, this is old tech, but when it came out a while ago, it was crazy expensive. Like, even now for a good pair, you're paying $100, $150 easy.
That's awesome.
But like back in the day, I think when I say back in the day, I'm talking like, I don't know, when I was in my early 20s and late teens, I picked one up and it cost me like $350, and it had like a maximum of like 30 megabits per second transfer speeds. And that's a maximum. So like you're usually getting about half of that. So it's it's crazy. Yeah. It's good. It's good to have those things around if you don't have a good.
Well, I have these Arcades 5 gigahertz extender. I do have extenders in my house to extend my Wi-Fi because I have about a 3,000 square foot house, so I got a decent sized house. So I needed to put the extenders in to get the Wi-Fi into all 4 corners, right? But yeah, I haven't tried the power plug option. I'm definitely going to look into that. Send me some links after the show. Just make sure they're not your Amazon affiliate leaks, because I'm not giving you guys any nickels and dimes out of. I'm just kidding for your referrals. Look at this nostalgia back in my early 20s, like last Wednesday. It was last Wednesday, guys. Okay, so let's talk about a console thing right now, which I'm actually kind of excited about. Let me pull up my screen here and make sure we have everything set up correctly. This has actually kind of been making the rounds this week in the news, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, as well as folks in the chat. The Atari VCS, the new PC console hybrid, is promising now to be released by December. You can get your pre-orders in. What do you guys think about Atari coming out with this new PC console hybrid? And do you think it's going to be a hit, or do you think it's going to be a flop? As well as folks in the chat, let me know. Are you guys going to place pre-orders for this? Or are you guys holding out for the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox? What is it, the One X? What is it called? I can't remember. Is it the One X?
It's just called Xbox.
It's just called the new Xbox, right?
Xbox One.
Yeah. So while I kind of navigate here, maybe Nostalgia, you should start. What do you think about this, as well as a lot of the technology they're going to have? You can stream games and all that kind of stuff.
I think it's first important to note that this is not going to be a direct competitor to PS5 or the new Xbox. Like, not even close.
But when you look at the price point, though, right? This holiday season, those systems are going to be what, $500 or more. This thing is about $400. I mean, people only have so much money. We all don't make nostalgia money. So we,
okay.
So, you know, but keep going, my friend.
I think it's interesting what they're doing. I definitely have been following this for a little while. I'm not 100% sure. We don't really know exactly what kind of tech they've put into this. We know that they're using an AMD Ryzen processor. And the Ryzen processors, they're not top of the line, but they're pretty good consumer level processors. Are they using a Ryzen 3, a Ryzen 5, a Ryzen 7? Like, what are they using, right? So like all of those sort of things matter. We haven't seen a ton of different types of gameplay footage on this thing. I think recently they just showed an optimized version of Missile Command. I think that recently came out a few days ago. But again, that game isn't particularly heavy in terms of its processing needs. So like I said, I don't think this is a direct competitor for any of the big players that are coming out with new consoles, but it's certainly interesting. What you've got there is something that's interesting to me, or something that I really like, that they're kind of going to have some sort of like a Vault system, like the Disney Vault or the Atari Vault in this case, where you can get in there, you can play some of the old classics. I don't know if that'll be a subscription-based service, kind of like what Nintendo's done on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm also seeing this Atari PC mode. Does that mean you can dump in a pre-formatted hard drive or solid state drive and actually launch Windows or launch some sort of other operating system, a Linux operating system or something like that, and actually use it as a PC? Maybe. I don't know if this information's been revealed yet, but it's actually fairly interesting what they're doing here.
What do you guys think of that controller? Not the joystick remake. I mean, that's classic, right? But what do you guys think of that controller? And let me know in the chat. What do you guys think of that controller? I'm kind of digging it.
It looks like an Xbox controller.
I know.
It looks just like an Xbox controller, which is smart, because ergonomically, it's probably the most comfortable controller on the market.
Right. And I've always been more Xbox than PlayStation, right? Like I told you guys, my PlayStation 4 is in my son's bedroom. I never touch it, right? It's just collecting dust from P-dubs, but
that's just because you're wrong, P-dubs. That's all.
Well, I'm sorry. I love my Xbox One. You know, I have my Xbox One, and I also have a 360. This is interesting though. $389 for the bundle, right? You're going to get the system plus 2 controllers, and it appears 100 games built in with the ability to add more. And they're also saying that new games are going to be released or newer games are coming out. Now, I'm assuming that's all going to be digital download. There's obviously no place to plug a cartridge in, right? I don't know. Carl, what do you think about this?
He's in shock.
Obviously, it's going to be emulation, right? We've been able to. Is that me disappearing again?
Yeah, that's you disappearing again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. But you guys can still hear me though.
We can hear
I don't. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of. I've been able to play Atari in all kinds of different ways, and those games are just so. I mean, these are games I grew up playing as a kid because you didn't have any other choice. Now I have choices, and I like choices. I don't know that I go that far back to play a lot of those Atari games, and at $400, that's digging deep into some nostalgic bank accounts. I don't know. I just bought the Genesis Mini. I bought what's the other one we got from Japan?
TurboGrafx.
TurboGrafx. TurboGrafx. And when I went to play those things, I'm like, oh my goodness, I forget how bad the graphics were. Back when nostalgia was
so good on
when
that.
nostalgia was a teenager. I'm like,
That was 2 weeks ago.
right. And so to go back to this Atari stuff that's like from the 70s, and I don't know, for $400, I hadn't even touched these things, which I paid maybe $60 to $80 for. To pay $400 for this for some Atari stuff. I even look at some of the games because a lot of people who do these moddings, they put all of these games on there. They put tons of things. I only put arcade only games on it. But I've looked at some of the Atari games, and I don't see it. I don't see where I would give somebody $400 to be able to play those old games.
I love Sean Powers here. He wrote the Intellivision is going to win this war. What if I like who was it? Was it Arcades? He wrote up here. Man, the chat's really flying right now. He wrote that if it plays Jaguar games, he'd be interested. What about Nostalgia? Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, I mean it's entirely possible, especially if they're going to be going with some sort of like subscription-based service where they have those games available online. Like that would make the most amount of sense, and they're promoting a streaming device, so it's entirely possible when you're pushing any game. Really, they could push really high-end graphical games from a server to the device where the server actually takes all the load. Right. The problem is going to be how good is that server that they have? How good is the connection between that main server to you, depending on where you live in the United States or in Canada or in overseas or wherever you happen to be? That's all going to play a factor in how well those games actually translate onto the screen.
Yeah.
And how long will it last? I mean, if this thing turns out to be a dud, the people who fork down $400 for it can no longer play it after 6 months to a year. They're not going to be pretty happy about that either. So,
well, I don't think Atari's going anywhere specifically. Right. I think that even if this is a fail, that they'll still exist. But that's a very valid point, which is why I'm not a huge fan of supporting digital only devices. Right. When you get into digital, you're really at the mercy of the developer and of the company who's putting out those products. So if something takes a turn, you end up with a down server, and then you end up with a whole whackload of games you can't play, because often those games will say, hey, no, there's an update. You can't play this game until you've downloaded this update. But if the server's dead, you can't actually access those games anymore. And it's an unfortunate thing. And we've seen that in the past. And when you're talking about some older generation games, an older generation, I'm even talking like PlayStation 3 games, some of those servers are dead. You can't play those games anymore. They're just paperweights, and that's not a good thing.
Right.
We got a finger.
Right, Michael. All right. We're gonna take care of something right now. All right. You've been a guest on my podcast so many times, and now I'm bringing you on full time, brother. Super Game Room dudes.
This is going to be the Michael B. the Game Genie show.
Right. There is no more raising your hand before you speak. You just jump in and you assert yourself, my friend.
Okay. I promise I will.
All right.
So I think we're talking about this and we're forgetting what this was when this has been out. I mean, the Kickstarter for this started 4 years ago. This was originally brought out as a competitor to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. That's how it was positioned. And if you guys remember, it also had Tempest 3000 as a launch game that was supposed to be a console exclusive, which within the first week of the Kickstarter turned out not to be a console exclusive. So this thing's kind of been a joke in the community aspect for a long time. And when I saw that it was actually coming out, we got a really close friend of mine, EdT1138 on YouTube, and he pre-ordered day one because he's a huge Atari fan. And I'm just happy he's going to get it. But his expectations have gone from very high to seeing what it's eventually going to be. I don't understand who this serves. Like I said, initially, the concept was competitor for the PS4. It's gone into that lower tier now because there's a secondary market of stuff coming out. Like you've got the Intellivision Amico, which a lot of people have mentioned in the chat. My friend GameStar81 is also releasing from CollectorVision Games the CollectorVision Phoenix, which is basically a new ColecoVision. So there seems to be a secondary market for this stuff. I don't know who it fits. Maybe guys that want to relive their old times and are willing to spend a lot more than just on a, one of these mini consoles that we've been buying, something that's a new thing. They've got to put something else to it. If they're going to release new Atari 2600 games, start delivering something, they're going to have Jaguar, something. For me right now, $400 US for that, I don't know why you would. I think it's crazy. And it's been crazy for 4 years. I'm amazed that it's actually coming out.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Okay, guys, let's do some housekeeping items, right? So, for instance, Super Game Room dudes, we're definitely, for folks joining late, yes, I'm retiring the Loft Report podcast because I cannot possibly do 3 podcasts a week plus make production videos for your entertainment. It's just not feasible when I'm working a full-time job. So the Loft Report podcast is going to be retired. We're replacing it with Super Game Room dudes, with the 4 horsemen of the arcade and gaming community: P-Dubs, Detroit Love, Nostalgia, Michael B, the Game Genie, covering all assets of hype, promotion, arcade modding, video game emulation, as well as original console gameplay. I think this is a really good lineup. It plays to all our strengths. It's going to be a good show. And I think we're also did we agree we're changing the time? Are we looking at Saturday nights instead of Sunday afternoons? Is that what we're going to do?
I think so.
Well,
go ahead, Mike.
Wouldn't be a good time right now to ask people when would be a good time for us to go up. I mean, we've come up with our own idea, but when would people like to see us? When's good for them?
Yeah,
7
guys.
days a week, 24 hours a day.
Yeah. What I worry about, guys, is obviously we're in COVID right now, but Sunday for me is football. Football's my favorite sport to watch on TV. And when the fall rolls around, let's just say football does come back, right? On my Sundays, especially during the lunch hours, as well as especially Sunday evenings, I would rather be watching football than watching a bunch of nerds talking about video game stuff, right? So, and I'm sure a lot of you folks as well. So I'm thinking Saturdays might be best, as well as doing it maybe Saturday nights, right? Might have to go up against one football game. What if we beat them, guys? What if we beat the Saturday night football game in the ratings? That would be kind of epic. DB says Wednesday at noons. What is this? Will not be super chatting, Jeff. Count on it. Zohar does not need to pay us in super chats. If Zohar and I have talked, I will put his comments on screen free of charge. Because the Amico 2:30 in the morning. All right. You know what I love about Zero Hero? This guy always busts everyone's balls in every chat room of every live stream. This guy cracks me up. Zero, I love you, man. You're awesome. We can do both at once. We are geeks with multiple screens. Yeah, honestly, I think, guys, a Saturday broadcast is going to be best. That way you can tune into the Retro Buzz on Friday, tune into Super Gaming Dudes on Saturday, and you could even tune into the One Up Weekly on Sunday. You get 3 of I think those are the 3 biggest podcast shows in this niche.
You mean Super Gaming Dudes featuring Nostalgia?
Yeah. So that way you get it boom, boom, boom 3 nights in a row and all that kind of stuff, right? So I think that'd be kind of cool for everybody and for the community and all that kind of stuff. What if I stream with you as I'm pooping? I would say something, but Pitbull could break me in half. So let's we love that guy. We love that guy. Okay, now we all right. So what is it? Super Game Room Dudes. Super Game Room Dudes. Probably this Saturday. Have our first episode. It'll be a lot better than this one. There will be no kitty litter or vacuum cleaners or anything of
there
that
will
nature.
be.
Michael B is not going to raise his hand. He is going to smack his hand on the table and demand our attention when he's speaking.
We've also decided that for the show, we're going to start sending different vacuum cleaners over to Michael B so he can do some different types of reviews.
This is a really cool vacuum cleaner. It's this crosswave that vacuums and mops at the same time. Like,
No
expect to see
way.
a full review on my channel this week.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
Now I have to show this. Now, guys, and the best way to cap off the Loft Report podcast is to end it with our biggest giveaway ever. If you guys recall, I said when I hit 3,000 subscribers, I was going to buy somebody an Arcade 1-Up machine, right? However, the Marvel cabinet at that time was sold out. I think it maybe was available again for 5 minutes, but I can't find a limited edition, a blue one. I can't get one ordered and online. So I said, you get to pick the cabinet you want. But then again, because there's people who follow my channel who are overseas, logistics suck, right? Like, what if this person is overseas? It's going to cost me an exorbitant amount of money to get it to them. So I just said, hey, we'll just make it a cash prize. That way you can buy whatever cabinet you want and no complaining, right? And of course, I also set it up using that website, Gimme It, which you guys can do your research. It's a completely legit contest website. And all you guys had to do was put in your names and your emails and all that stuff. And it would, and what's cool is the contest ran, and when it was over, it picked a winner, right? So it's completely real, legit, not rigged or anything of that nature. So let's find out who won their Arcade 1-Up. Let me get my screen shared. And now what's going to be really funny is if someone takes this Walmart gift card and they go and put brakes on their car. That would be hilarious, right? But I don't care. I did this for you guys. Basically, all that YouTube ad revenue that I've made over the last year, I'm giving back to the community because I don't need it. I do this for fun. This is not a business or a career, in my opinion. All right, guys, here we go. And the winner is Neil Dennis. Neil Dennis. We had 142 people signed up. For the sake of privacy, I'm not going to scroll down this entire list. Well, I'll do it really fast. Well,
No, I'm not going to do that as I do it.
Well, because people, I don't want them to like their personal email addresses to be released. But Neil Dennis won. So Neil Dennis, you're going to be getting an email from me a little bit later, and we'll figure out, do you want an Amazon or a Walmart gift card? Everyone say congratulations to Neil Dennis, and that way I can get him his prize. So hopefully I did this contest fairly. It's the biggest contest I've ever done. I don't plan on doing another big giveaway like this until I hit 5,000 subscribers. I will do small stuff, here and there, like maybe a product or like a $20 gift card, but I can't be giving away this much stuff all the time. So all that kind of stuff. So congratulations to Neil. Make sure
Congratulations.
Make sure you guys tune in Saturday night for the premiere episode of Super Game Room Dudes. It's a mouthful, but it's cool. All the other ones that we liked that were shorter were already taken. Damn internet, right? Now, before we sign off, I want you guys. Oh, did I upload the pictures? No, I didn't upload the pictures. Damn it. All right. Detroit Love, where can people find you, and what are you working on that they can see on your channel? Maybe I can find it while you stall for me.
Detroit Love on YouTube. I've been working on a lot of NBA jams. I just did one showing the birth dates and the initials that you can put in and play as some people I don't even recognize. I played as newcomer and got my butt whooped. I don't even know why they have that guy on there. But I've definitely been enjoying that. Probably do some more NBA jams. And like we try to convince P-Dubs, it don't make a difference if anyone else has made videos. You make the videos you want to do and enjoy doing it, and that's what people enjoy watching. They enjoy you doing your videos, and they don't care about these other people. They'll watch us all. They don't care.
Oh, that's cool. And Mike,
get outside, everybody, and enjoy the nature.
Michael B., what are you working on that people will see on your channel? Your Burger Time review, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm going to review Burger Time. I did a review of the Pac-Man 40th
Pac-Man
anniversary
40.
cabinet. I love that cabinet. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, please go back and watch it. I really appreciate that. And there's some Nintendo stuff coming up again soon too.
All right, hold on a second. Now, keep in mind, this is why when you're friends with somebody, people don't get mad, right? It's called being friends, right? So, like, I made my Pac-Man review video. We're all entitled to our own opinions, right? And in my opinion, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I love in Michael B's video, everything that I pointed out that I didn't like about the cabinet, Michael B was very specific to say, P-dubs, it's no big deal in his video.
Well,
So-
it wasn't aimed at you. You weren't the only person who were bringing up some of these issues, right?
Right.
It's not like I said there's no damage specifically on the top of the can where you mentioned yours.
I'm like,
Then
yeah,
I might have been targeting
my
you.
crap's broken. It's broken right
Yeah.
here. Right here. It's
Yeah.
broken, damn it. And there's no way to get that fixed, right? Well, I mean, I fixed it myself, but you can't just swap artwork. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't affect the functionality of the cabinet. But Michael B's review was really good, and because of it, I'm gonna have to change my Pac-Man score. It's now a 6.5 out of 10, thanks to you, Michael B,
Excellent.
for talking me off the ledge on some of those points. What about you, Nostalgia? What do you got in the hopper? Are you going to hack the FBI database?
I'm not gonna say yes to that because I will go straight to jail. So no, but yes. And I've got a ton of stuff, really. I've got a ton of stuff being sent out to me for review. So we've got things like the Retroid Pocket, which is actually a pretty cool Android-based gaming console, handheld console. This is one that I'm really excited for. The Mister FPG.
Nice.
Very excited to start talking about this and working with this. There's a lot of cool development happening, including some three-dimensional style games. I'm not going to say too much more than that, but I'm working with a couple people who are doing some cool things there.
You should you should grew up with Rex from the Rexer show. He is a Mr. God.
Yeah. And the big thing that I'm excited for is a little bag, and I'm not going to go to too much detail, but on the back, upside down, I don't know, mod chips.
Heroin?
It's a little bag of cocaine.
Angel
And,
dust.
I got some mod chips, and I'm going to be modding the snot out of every single retro gaming console I have that I can.
Yeah.
So we're talking PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, GameCube. We're kind of going over everything, and I'm going to do some soldering and wiring, and we're going to try to do some stuff that those companies don't want you to do.
Awesome. Playing with fire. I see. Playing with fire. Now on my channel, guys, I sent these guys pictures earlier this morning. I said my arcade loft is in disarray, and I wasn't kidding. I sent them pictures. I have my Rec Room Masters cabinets in pieces in my loft, covering my entire loft. I'm trying to get my Rec Room Masters cabinets assembled. That way I can actually put those together and start playing around with more multicades, because I love multicades. So maybe I'll do some videos for that, as well as I do have product reviews I want to do for the Evercade, as well as some numbskull cabinets. I got a lot of stuff here that I need to get to. As well as, guys, make sure you tune in every Wednesday to Legend Center, my other show with Steven from the Tech Buzz. But minus that, guys, hopefully you guys will tune in on Saturday and hang out with us and check out the premiere of Super Game Room News. We promise you we'll make it the best show we possibly can. And until then, I'm ready whenever you're ready, Carl.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And until next time, we'll see you on the web.
See you Saturday.